You're listening to the Fun Never Ends podcast with Metalhead Nelson and Brutal Brett.
Hey, welcome to the Fun Never Ends podcast with Metalhead Nelson and Brutal Brett. It is Sunday, January 30th. Beautiful day outside. How you doing, Brett?
I'm doing pretty well. I have blackout curtains, so I don't know if it's even daylight out yet. I probably should have checked that when I woke up.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice outside. That's for sure. That's for damn sure.
Let's see. I know yesterday was all gloomy, and I was just like, sick. Are we actually going to get some rain here in LA?
Yeah, yesterday was weird, man. Now it's like, what the hell?
Oh, no, it's beautiful out.
I've been looking at the forecast. So far, no rain. So
then again, whenever it rains here, everyone just acts like the sky is falling, and everyone starts and stops posting on social media, so it just gets boring. Everyone's just like, oh, I just need tea and a movie, I guess.
Feels like nobody knows how to drive in the rain these days, or ever.
You're not wrong. Driving to work in the rain, I think it was like about a month ago. I saw like 5 spin outs in LA.
Woo, man.
I don't usually white knuckle when I drive, but I was just like, shit.
Yeah, I get you. I'm 20 minutes away, so it's kind of like, it's going there. I'm going there. I'm like about 5 miles under the speed limit, and still, you got people hauling ass, like zooming down 50 to 60 miles an hour on a 45-mile-an-hour road.
Oh, yeah. I'm convinced that the roads by where we work, some of the worst that I've ever driven on. Also worst drivers, but that's this isn't a construction or a urban planning podcast. This is a metal podcast.
We're just talking about random shit. So
transition God.
It's like Seinfeld in a way.
A podcast about nothing.
Come on, Jerry. You're crazy, Jerry. Crazy.
What's going on in there, Kramer?
What is he talking about?
What's going on in there, Kramer? Jerry, it's the Necronomicon.
Give it the kibosh.
But I think we have some more metal news this time around.
Oh, yeah. We've got a lot to cover today. A lot to cover. You don't mind if I start off, do you?
Not at all.
All right. So we got a lot of great music coming, a lot of great tours. Sammy Hagar announces his new tour. It's called the Crazy Times Tour. Sammy Hagar in the Circle, which features Sammy Hagar, Michael Anthony, Vic Johnson, and Jason Bonham, with special guest George Thorogood and the Destroyers. So that tour, it has been announced. Tickets are on sale. They will be coming to the 5 Point Amphitheater in Irvine, California, Saturday, September 10th. Get your tickets now through Ticketmaster.com or go to redrocker.com and get your tickets. So that show is definitely going to sell out. I've got a couple more for you. Let's see. You'll have to give me a break here.
No, you're perfectly fine.
Coming up this past Friday and Saturday over at the Venetian Theater in Las Vegas, we had Sticks with Nancy Wilson from Heart. So that tour, or that residency continues for February 2nd, 3rd, and February 2nd, 4th, and 5th. So you can catch that at the Venetian Theater in Venetian Las Vegas. Also, more with residencies. Scorpions have a new record coming out next month on the February 24th called Rock Believer, and with that they have a residency at the Zappos Theater in Planet Hollywood, Las Vegas. Call it Sin City Nights with special guest Skid Row. But if you're going to see Skid Row, it's not with Sebastian Bach. They've gone their separate ways for a long time now. So if you're going to see Sebastian, go see Sebastian Bach. If you're going to see Skid Row, go see Skid Row. Mind you, it'll be different people. So that's going to be from March 26th to April 16th at the Zappos Theater in Planet Hollywood. The Doobie Brothers also have a residency at the Zappos Theater from May 13th to the 28th, and that's all them on their own. If you want to get tickets, jump onto the Planet Hollywood site and go for it. Also, for residencies, Sammy Hagar and Friends at the Stratosphere. New dates are February 9th, 11th, 12th, March 23rd, 25th, and 26th at the Stratosphere Las Vegas. And Brett, I know you got a couple things to talk about as well into the music side.
Yeah, I know that one of my favorite space rock bands, Failure, have a tour coming out it's in June through July. It hits LA at the Regent Theater on July 8th. And before that, if you want to go down to San Diego on June 2nd, it'll be at the Music Box. They are in support of their latest album, one of my favorites of 2021, Wild Type Droid, which is a very much continuation of their sound that they really kicked off on with Fantastic Planet back in the 90s. I also want to say that there's been an announcement for the 2022 lineup of Furnace Fest. Tickets are $249 until January 28th, and then starting March 1st, it'll be $269. This takes place in Birmingham, Alabama, September 23rd through 25th, 2022, and it has some pretty heavy hitters. It has The Ghost Inside, a metalcore band, Newfound Glory as a top billing act, interesting, Alexis on Fire, Advent, The Acacia Strain, American Nightmare, and just to skip through to some more interesting and crazy reunions, Elliot, who are a Kentucky emo band, The Joy Formidable, another emo band, and another interesting reunion, Pedro the Lion, along with Shadows Fall, Stretch Armstrong, Demon Hunter, and Bleeding Through for the Orange County heads out there. I may be trying to go to that myself. It has a very eclectic bill of metal, hardcore, metalcore, indie, emo, and as much as we talk shit on When We Were Young last time, I would say that this is a much more mature version of that.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. I dig it, that's for sure.
There's a bunch of bands that are up your alley as well on it. It's mainly 90s through early 2000s, but it definitely can tickle everyone's fancy, which is also a phrase that I think needs to be said more because it's very awkward.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tickle your fancy.
Who there's tickle my fancy?
Ah, yes, tickling my fancy.
Hey, you brought up another festival that come into Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. If it's not Wisconsin, it's another random state within the Midwest in which they get open air festivals. Let's see.
Yep, Rockfest. When we just rock in Cata, Wisconsin, July 14th to the 16th.
And it has some heavy hitters. It has Lamb of God, Theory of a Dead Man, Avatar, Hatebreed, Spirit Box. This is my personal recommendation. If you haven't heard Spirit Box, they are a truly great female-fronted metalcore experimental band.
I'll have to check them out for sure. Yeah, that's a hell of a lineup. You got, like you were saying, that is pretty much Saturday with the Nita Strauss. Nita Strauss is currently the guitarist for Alice Cooper, one of the guitarists for Alice Cooper. She was in the Iron Maidens, the world's only female tribute for Iron Maiden, at one point in time, along with the band called Consume the Fire. Definitely check out her newest solo record that's out. Along with, hey, you got a couple tribute bands on here too. Peace of Mind is an Iron Maiden tribute band that's playing that night as well. And that's on a Saturday. Then you got, Evanescence and Hailstorm on Friday? No, I'm sorry. That was Thursday. Yeah. This is Friday. Evanescence and Hailstorm.
That'll be interesting.
Black Veil Brides.
Wake Me Up. Can't wake up. Oh, Volumes are on it. That's interesting.
Butcher Babies. John 5, Rob Zombie's guitar player. He's got amazing solo stuff. Definitely want to check that out.
I would Mudvayne. If you weren't a fan of the song "Dig" back growing up, the boom boom ding, and what was it? Bugles glued to the bassist face.
I don't remember. I think it was Bugles.
Do yourself a service if you're hearing this and you're just like, oh yeah, Mudvayne Dig. Watch the video. It is one of the greatest nu metal songs and videos of all time.
Yeah, definitely check that out. I'm definitely going to check that out because I don't remember that.
It's my nu metal crave and time period. We'll get into stories about that sometime.
Oh, yeah. Hey, there's a couple other tribute bands there that Friday night. They got this tribute bands to the Foo Fighters called the Flesh Fighters, along with a Black Sabbath tribute, Sabbath Unleashed. So Saturday, Shinedown, Mudvayne, Motionless in White, Skillet, The Warning. That's another good one. Cowboys from Hell, another Pantera tribute, and you got, I believe, there are Tool tribute, 10,000 Days.
it's crazy that we're getting into the time period when there's tributes for Tool and Pantera now.
Oh, there's been, I believe there's one called Cowgirls from Hell that are a SoCal tribute.
I'm gonna have to go see that. That sounds cool as hell.
I think there's a one called Damnation 101. So
that is one of the hardest songs known to man. That when that breakdown comes in, you just want to tear a place down. So if it's all females doing that, not trying to be sexist here. Once again, parody podcast, comedy, but that's gonna be brutal as hell.
The Warning is actually a all female rock band, 3-piece rock band. Actually,
they're definitely great.
Yeah. Also, there is a Wednesday night opening bash kind of thing. If you're a 3-day ticket holder only, that features Warrant. You know the song Cherry Pie. She's my cherry pie, and Uncle Tom's Cabin. Lito Ford is on there. Firehouse, along with Otherwise Islander, Versus Me, and 2 other bands. So that's a Wednesday night thing. So
that's such a weird lineup
to have those 80s bands along with like 5 other bands that I have never heard of.
Versus Me are like a newer Warped Tour-esque metalcore band. So that's why I'm like, what's going on here? Firehouse as well.
I love Firehouse. I love Lito Ford. I've met Lito Ford. I've met the guys of Warrant. Seen them. They're amazing.
Yeah, let's get a bunch of people who love Warped Tour and stuff and make them see Cherry Pie. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, they might get some cherry pie.
We're talking about the Warped Tour crowd. I'm not sure. Parody podcast strikes again.
Round 2.
You can't get canceled if everything you say isn't serious.
No, this is, aside from Warped Tour or any other festival that we talked about in the last episode, this is my type of festival. More bands that appeal to me that I would go see. I would pay for the 3-day pass and go all 4 days. Even though the last day, I mean, it's still pretty good. I would go to all 4 nights.
I would go to that. Would I go to the Midwest for that? Probably not.
Hey, if I could, I would. So there's more options out that direction than there are out this way, to be honest with you.
I think this past weekend was California Death Fest that had who did it have? I know that it had Autopsy on it, California. And I know that there was another band starts with a D. It was Mortician. Yeah, it was Mortician, Autopsy, Onslaught. Why didn't I go to this? I think Butcher Babies.
Today is day 3.
Yeah. Today is day 3 of it.
Or the 1720 Club in LA.
Why did I not go to this? Why did I not see Autopsy and Mortician?
Decrepit Birth. I think that's one you're talking about, right?
100%, yeah.
California Death Fest 3. So today's lineup is Dark Fortress, Decrepit Birth, Imperialist, Onslaught, Pentagram from Chile.
Skeletal Remains played Friday. I missed Mortician on Friday because I'm an idiot. Today is Sacramentum. Onslaught, I would see. I should have gone yesterday. Yeah, I fucked up.
It happened. There'll be another round next year for sure.
Had you listened to Mortician? They're one of the greatest. As you're a Bolt Thrower fan, I recommend them. They are short songs, kind of slammy, grindy, incredible, grimy tone.
Okay. If you like melodic death metal
more than anything,
check out one of my friends' bands. They are called Infinite Death. I don't think you're gonna find it anywhere but SoundCloud. Search them up. They sound pretty good.
Like an At the Gates melodic death metal.
Very melodic, to be honest. More so, I think you would like it. Just check them out. I'll send you a link.
Like Swedish melodic death metal, like At the Gates type stuff, or like Triptychon stuff like that.
Not too sure. I'll send it to you and you can figure it out yourself. It's kind of hard to compare.
All right. And speaking of death metal news, we have Chris Barnes really showing his ass lately, despite being the worst Cannibal Corpse vocalist. You know, I'm team Corpse Grinder over here.
Definitely Corpse Grinder all the way, man. It's like, where's your neck?
I'd rather support the dude who buys a bunch of World of Warcraft toys and, is a kid at heart than a full-grown man who says he's not a shill for talking about death metal, while at the same time being a shill for the car company from which he got his car from in a commercial.
Oh, God.
Yes. The story is that Chris Barnes said that he watched a recent roundtable with the new and up-and-coming death metal vocalists ranging from Chase Mason of Gatecreeper, Alex Jones of Undeath, and Trevor from the Black Dahlia murder, and said that he hates the way that death metal voices have become lately. This is coming from the man who's in 6 Feet Under, who sounds like...
The only thing cool that 6 Feet Under done, in my opinion, is when they covered Dio's Holy Diver. That's the only thing I've ever heard from 6 Feet Under.
I thought that their first album was okay, and that's it. But Jamie Josta of Hatebreed fame and podcast fame was just like, okay, come on my podcast. We can have you talk about why you hate new death metal. And Chris Barnes, like a jackass, said, nah, I'm good. I'm not a shill. I don't need to talk about it. You all suck. So, boo you, Chris Barnes. You are an asshole.
Okay, since we're on the subject of Chris Barnes, Blabbermouth also posted about Chris Barnes, about him calling about Cannibal Corpse for quote-unquote price gouging after a fan complaining about cost of tickets on the band's upcoming tour. So they play Ace of Spades in Sacramento. That venue kind of reminds... I've been up there maybe twice. No, once. That's a lie. My friend's band, Nevayan, they're a power metal band. If you like Iced Earth, they're American power metal. If you like Iced Earth, more so the Matt Barlow era, my friend Norman sounds just like Matt Barlow. So if you want to check out Nevayan, check out Nevayan, and you'll love them.
Question: wasn't Iced Earth involved in the storming of the Capitol? Or am I thinking of another band?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna look up. There was a band that was with the Capitol.
Let's see. So going back to that was the show that they opened for Testament. I got to see Testament, and more so, it's like a hometown show. So
no, it was Iced Earth. Iced Earth's John Schaefer was the person who got arrested for storming the Capitol.
Interesting.
The more you know.
So back to Ace of Spades. Definitely check that out. It reminds me of the Whiskey a Go-Go and the Glass House.
That is the perfect combination.
So they got what was it? They got a show coming up. Cannibal Corpse has a show coming up in March 10th at Ace of Spades with Whitechapel, Shadow of Intent, and Revocation. And then Chris Barnes decided to comment and say, "Damn, didn't know Metallica were playing." Well, the fans said that, and then Chris Barnes goes and says, "How the fuck is well, I guess that's not Chris Barnes." But somebody said, "How the fuck is 105 per ticket for Cannibal Corpse, Whitechapel, Revocation, and Shadow of Intent at Ace of Spades in Sacramento, March 10th? Where do you get reasonable tickets?" So
that has to be sell. There's no way that tour is $105. None of those bands draw that much. None of them.
It sounds like scalper prices. Because if I were to go to the Ace of Spades site and look that up, I'm sure it's going to be less.
There's no way. Because I saw Cannibal Corpse with Morbid Angel on the Decibel tour, and it was like $30. It was Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel, Necrot, and Blood Incantation, $30. There's no way adding Whitechapel, Shadow of Intent, and Revocation can change it to be more. None of those bands have that much draw. They're more like B-tier touring bands.
Let's see. The Live Nation show. Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah. That you are correct, because these are verified resale ticket. That's why it's 105.
So people are just idiots and they don't know how to read.
Exactly. It's general admission standing and verified resale for $105. I don't know why anybody's bitching about it. I think Chris Barnes should really do a little bit of research into that before actually going and complaining. Same goes with the fans. So
Chris Barnes doing research sounds like a topic for their next album.
So
6 Feet Under and actually sourcing stuff.
But oh well, what are you gonna do? People like to complain and bitch and moan, you know?
That's what the internet was made for. Bill Gates is just like, just fucking have every terrible opinion at one place at the same time.
Well, what opinion did he have on his own company, I wonder?
He stepped down from it, so he's probably just like, this is ass. I'm just gonna be a philanthropist now because I've created too much evil in creating the internet.
Yeah, I guess for him it's quote-unquote compact through Gateway.
You can say that he's acting Microsoft by running a philanthropist.
Well, he must be living in the 95 stage.
God damn it. This is no more. The listeners can only take so much.
Sorry, I'm a very punny guy, so.
We have higher standards here. We're taking no more fun too literally.
Okay. Well, I got a little bit of wrestling news. Jon Moxley is back in AEW after an absence that he had 3 months ago for alcohol treatment. Charles Barkley actually commented about Jon Moxley's rehab. This is Charles Barkley on Jon Moxley. He says, Jon Moxley, one of the biggest stars in AEW. He left 3 months ago for alcohol treatment. He just came back this week, and I just wanted him to know that we never met. I just want to say I'm really proud of him. I wish him nothing but the best. So him being a big wrestling fan went ahead and said that about Jon Moxley, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. I'm going to pivot it and make a very terrible hot take.
Go ahead.
John's pissed as fuck and is going to fight better than ever before right now.
Oh, hell yeah. He's back, and he just defended his heavyweight title over at GCW, and he won that match. I saw that on YouTube. He won that match. That was a brutal fucking match, and he beat the shit out of his opponent. I forget who he fought, but he defended his title.
I know Royal Rumble was last night.
Yes, Royal Rumble was last night. Mickie James, the Impact Women's Wrestling Champion, came back last night on Royal Rumble. She was a former WWE superstar. Ronda Rousey returned too, and won the female Royal Rumble.
As fucking should. That's childhood right there.
She came and went. She threw everybody over the top rope. So you can go to WWE.com, look that up too. So.
I love it. It's still real to me, man. It's still real to me.
Yeah, it's still a lot. Okay, the storylines could be better, like back in '98, back in that whole Attitude Era when it was still WWF.
Yep.
Back when it was still WWF. But I wish the stories were better when they were against, like, they were trying to fight the censors.
Versus now where it's just like, oh yeah, he's being cucked and he's cheating, but he's also their brother, sister, lover. And it's just like...
It's all PG era now. Everything's quote-unquote PG. That's one thing about WWE that kind of got me away from that. And it's the storylines aren't as great as they should be. So that's why I'm over more so like AEW. At least the stories are better. And you got like wrestlers like Sting, Chris Jericho, and all those guys. And,
AEW is sweeping it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Tony Khan, one of the richest guys that also owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, if I'm not mistaken. So runs AEW.
Fucking love it. The only other stuff that I remember on my docket things to talk about, Kanye West calling his new album Donda 2 having no phone until it comes out, apparently February 22nd. Keep in mind, this man changes the date of all of his albums, scraps albums and everything, and he's saying, yeah, I'm gonna have another album. It was like 6 or 7 months after his previous album just dropped.
So he dropped another album like 6-7 months after.
Yeah, his last album, Donda, dropped 7 months ago. It was more God-centric and everything, even though it bears his mom's name. And now he's like, yeah, this is Donda 2. And apparently it's back to him cussing and stuff.
How did that first Donda record actually do for him to release another record? I mean, of course, you're a musician. You want to release some more records, which is fine. But how do you think that sales did on that first one for him to release a new
someone
record?
As far as I believe that hip-hop is synonymous with punk, just spewing that out there, that is not a hot take. That is not parody. That is 100% my true belief, because fuck 12, ACAB all day. That's hip hop says that. You have Fuck the Police by every 90s and 80s hip hop group, and you have it by punk and metal as well. So I think that once you get that bridge crossed, it's all the same. But as far as Kanye's Donda, I would say it was incredibly well received. It was his first album in a few years that really was back to form, because his one before that in 2020 was just that Christian gospel album, Jesus is King.
Have you listened to the Donda record?
I listen to it about weekly with no shame.
What is your take on that record? Because I've never listened to that album, so I don't know what to expect, except for his like more commercial stuff that he released.
Yeah,
back in
like Gold Digger and Touch the Sky. I would say this is a combination of the God gospel stuff with his more commercial stuff. The first song is a chant of his mother's name to the rhythm of her beating or her dying heartbeat. So it's just like Donda, 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 Donda for 57 seconds. So that's a weird way to start an album.
I'll say that is a weird way to start an album.
But it's pretty much just a feature-based album where it has like every rapper's rapper on it now, from Travis Scott, Don Toliver, and what would I say appeals about it? I would say it's not so much the lyrical content at all, because it's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
And the rapping is terrible as well. I would say it has good beats, and it's just it just has good flow. That's really what it is. And it's not, lyrics like closed on Sunday, she my Chick-fil-A, no more Graham.
Oh my God. Lyrics like that. How does anybody come up with lyrics like that?
I'm gonna table that for next week, where we could talk about current hip hop lyrics such as Pushin' P and how it literally means nothing, but it's all over social media.
Yeah, that would be good. So if you want to tune into the next episode for that, go ahead and subscribe,
where I will be teaching Nelson about current hip hop colloquialisms and what Pushin' P means.
Sounds like a plan to me. So if that quote unquote tickles your fancy, subscribe for all future episodes. For sure. Hey, I got one more about festival, but this is a cruise. The Monsters of Rock cruise is actually February 9th to the 14th, departing from Miami to Coco Cay to Cozumel. This is a big festival. Headlining this rock Monsters of Rock cruise is Alice Cooper. You got other bands like Beasto Blanco, which features Chuck Garrick, which is Alice Cooper's bass player. Black and Blue, Buck Cherry, Chris Holmes, formerly of Wasp, Dangerous Toys, Crazy Licks. I've listened to this band Crazy Licks. I found them recently on my Spotify. Yes, I use Spotify, so don't give me shit. And they fucking kick ass. They kick ass.
Is it just crazy riffs and everything?
Dude, they're very like 80s hair band. They kick ass.
I love that shit. My thing is, I need it to be either like Iron Maiden-y or more King Diamond-y, where it's just fucking incredibly over the top vocals. The guitars just make you want to like fucking run a marathon.
Yeah.
You just feel like a character of a story.
Yeah, well, these guys are more along the lines of like bands like Great White, that 80s hair band era. Plus, you got a lot of other bands like Soto, LA Guns, Kicks, Michael Monroe, Choir Boys, Tom Kiefer, Slaughter, Winger, Vixen. So, along with John Corabi, there's a lot. So, it's all hosted by Eddie Trunk, Don Jameson, Jim Florentine, Keith Roth, and a couple other guys on there. But this is definitely one to check out. And if you're going on the cruise, I know a couple people going on the cruise. Just be safe out there, because I have heard of a Norwegian cruise line that stranded a bunch of people mid-cruise in the ocean. They decided to cancel the cruise and just stranded a bunch of people mid-cruise.
Yeah, I was going to my next question. Is just like, what are your thoughts on these cruise fests? And I'm not for it.
I'm in between about these cruise fests, because yeah, it's cool with everybody on the boat, but if shit hits the fan, where do you go? It's
the fact that there's nowhere to go in general, and it just is. I don't know. Cruises have been purported to give you really intense diarrhea. That is, I was watching Reno 911, the movie. They made a joke about that too, where they're just like, yeah, let's go on a cruise. And then someone's just like, oh, you mean a diarrhea fest?
It give you a run for your money.
Apparently it's something that, like, no matter what you do, if you're on a cruise for the first few days, you just get diarrhea. And
I would think it would be more like the diarrhea from either being seasick or
beer,
the air, or the food.
I can only imagine how terrible you'd be feeling if you're at a like rock or metal fest on a boat, drinking all that beer on the ocean with all this shitty food.
Well, depending on I guess it depends on the cruises, on what kind of food they have and how good the quality is. I've never been on a cruise, so
that's bougie stuff.
I don't have that kind of money. The most expensive cruise that I've seen for prices is the Kiss cruise.
Well, yeah.
That is expensive. I'm like, really? That's almost like a price of the meet and greet alone for Kiss. If you want a VIP and meet and greet and all that, it's alone $1,200 without the ticket included.
To hear that you want to rock and roll all night and party every day on a cruise priceless. That's just priceless.
Hey, I love Kiss. Kiss is one of my favorite bands of all time, but I will not pay for a meet and greet, let alone for the Kiss cruise. Call me what you will, but I don't have that kind of money. I have other things to attend to.
Pivoting further, transition god, there is an emo cruise coming up with like Paramore, or not Paramore, maybe it's just like Dashboard Confessional. I know Dashboard Confessional are on it. I'm going to find this. It was on, I use this website. I recommend it. Everyone out there, it's called Lambgoat. It tells you, what is new in the world of metal, hardcore, punk, indie, and emo. That's lambgoat.com. Shout out to Webby. I've been using them since like 2006. That's where I get all my news, really.
Right on.
And
it's called Emo's Not Dead Cruise, correct?
Yep. It has Dashboard Confessional, Under Oath, Newfound Glory, Thursday, Plain White Tees, Silverstein, Emery, Hawthorne Heights, William Ryan Key from Yellow Card, Cassidy Pope, and Your Broken Hero. This is a really, coming from someone who's into emo, that's a very interesting take on it. It's a bunch of bands that are more like B-tiered, so I'm trying to understand why they have a whole cruise.
I guess they wanted to fit in with all the other cruises. I mean, there's a lot of cruises. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was a New Kids on the Block cruise or something years ago. I don't know, it was that.
I have this about New Kids on the Block that relates to metal.
I like to hear that. Hey, but anyway, this, we'll get to that in a bit. That Emo Not Dead cruise is like a, 5-day cruise, takes place November 8th to the 12th, leaving from LA to Ensenada, Mexico. And tickets, well, if you want an interior room per person, you're paying $890, shared by 2 people. If you want one that's shared by 3, you're paying $730 per person. If you're sharing a room for 4 people, it's $620. But if you want a lonesome room, well, that's going to be about $1,500.
I guess emo's not dead, but your wallet is.
Oh, yeah. So,
and now I will tell you the New Kids on the Block connection to metal.
I'd like to hear that.
Who is Mark? The Wahlberg's brother, not Mark. The other one, Donnie, something like that. Donnie Wahlberg. Is that who it is?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
The one who is married to crazy Jenny McCarthy. His son is Andrew Xavier Wahlberg, who plays in a bunch of local California metal bands.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he goes by Xavier X. He is also part of the SOS Booking Productions that puts on a bunch of shows in Southern California. He plays in the bands Valmakara, Upon Stone, Section Hate, Hands of God, and a few more he'll fill in for from time to time. But yeah, he's Donnie Wahlberg's son, and he's a local mainstay in the California metal scene.
Interesting about that because, Mark Wahlberg, a.k.a. Marky Mark, who was also the main character in the movie Rockstar.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe it's a Wahlburger for you.
I guess so. So you go from Steel Dragon to, and maybe Mark's nephew took in sight. Who knows if he was already in local metal bands before that or what? But.
Well, he's someone. Let me preface this. He's someone that I grew up with going to shows, and I didn't know who his dad was up until we were in our 20s.
That's pretty cool.
So I had no idea.
It's like, your dad you're related to who?
Yeah, I would just know him from shows and stuff, and like we'd hang out afterwards, but I had no idea.
That's always cool to like be friends with somebody like that and not find out about who they're related to. Not that it matters. I mean, we're all the same.
I'd say it's an overly LA story, unfortunately.
It's pretty much about who you know, and typically with everybody I know, I just treat them like normal people, even if they're famous or not. I just say, hey, what's going on, man? I
agree with that because at the end of the day, it's just a number on a follower count.
Yeah. I remember when I was so starstruck, I would get starstruck. And then I was like, you know what? They're just regular people with fame and bigger paychecks than us, but they're just still regular people with a lot of talent.
There are times where I disagree with that. I think that Travis Scott is a robot because he is only something that corporations plug into.
Corporations like to plug into a lot of shit. You think about the record industry now, that's gone all corporate.
I'm just waiting for corporate plugins on like metal songs. Like just imagine like they're just going like this is for Amazon.
I think they would only do that if it would actually help, but I don't know.
Thank you to
I would love to see that for like different commercials, actually throwing like more metal stuff into the commercials.
Toyota Honda days. Happy Honda days.
The Norman's Honda Superstore.
Get a fucking Ford.
Call 1-800-GENERAL now.
The F-150.
We'll never break down, but we will.
Oh, that's some good shit.
Keys on Venice.
Nah, we're gonna dox ourselves that way. Nelson's out here trying to dox us with our local radio ads.
Hey, it works. It was fun. It's funny.
You're not wrong. I'm trying to think of how many slogans I have stuck in my head, but actual useful information is just in one ear and out the other.
My useful information is either on music, movies and shows that I've seen, along with music gear. I'm a guitar player, so I don't know. You would expect a guitar player to only know about like guitar stuff, but when it comes down to like drums and bass guitar and gear in general, I'm like a nerd. I used to get Musician's Friend magazine and just like browse through. I tell everybody, okay, people know about cars. I know about guitars.
And I used to be the same way. I used to have the craziest Boss pedal for my bass, where it could make my bass just sound like a club going out. Like I play one string and it just be like do 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 do. And did I need that? No.
But
did I use it? No. Was it just for fun? Yeah, pretty much. I didn't use it for anything. I paid $300 for it. I was like 15. I had no.
Was it a pedal board?
Yeah.
Which pedal board was it?
It was some red Boss one, but it had like a bunch of different effects just built into it.
Oh, okay. It was like the Boss ME something B for the bass. Yeah.
Yep.
I had the green one, the Boss ME50 for the guitar.
And it just comes with the craziest sounds in it, and you're just like, yeah, I'm never going to use this in any practical song, but I can if I wanted to.
You have so many options with the multi-effects pedal that like you can dial in whatever you want, and if I'm not mistaken, that's also an analog one where you're turning knobs and stuff.
Yep, correct. So I was just like, oh yeah, what am I going to do with the fact that I could turn my bass into drum and bass? Okay. Hey guys, yeah, just let me just put a beat down. I'm just gonna and it just sounds like like why?
It's a theme song for Party Boy. I know my fortune. It's to party.
I think the wave of the future is to create songs with effects that no one uses so that we're above everyone.
What effects would you use? I would go through the board and just shoot on through like do like phasing and flanging, but unless you got an echoplex going back and forth.
So what do you guys call yourselves in regards to genre? We're a pedal board core.
Pedal board core. Why do you call yourself that? Well, give us about 10 minutes and you'll find out.
I know that could be confused with just the genre of shoegaze, which got its name from staring at the floor hitting pedals, but we are different in the fact that we use a different pedal in every song and that no song has the same sound.
You gotta have like a whole board like the Edge from U2, just nonstop pedals, and then
Then my question then is, does it just sound like My Bloody Valentine at the end of the day?
Who knows?
Or it's just
or you sound like Kirk Hammett, like wow 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 wow.
Morello. At that point, are you playing guitar or is the guitar playing you?
A little bit of both.
Hey, fuck you. I won't do what you tell me.
So
I used to have a coworker who would play that song very loudly at 3:00 in the afternoon.
He would just blast it out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a good song.
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know, but the boss never got mad that they just have a fuck you. I won't do what you tell me at 3 in the afternoon.
And the boss is probably like, yeah, this guy knows what's up.
Nah, he didn't know anything about rock music, but he did wear Yeezys and Jordans and was like a 56-year-old man, so it kind of creeped me out.
Interesting. Enough. Man, Jordans, I've looked at the prices on Jordans. They are expensive, man.
As someone who used to collect them, there's too much hype around it now. I don't understand it.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I've seen a pair of Jordans that are like off the scale expensive. If I'm not mistaken, there was one that was like about $15,000.
You're not wrong. It is the collaboration with Virgil Abloh's brand Off-White and Nike. The Chicago colorway goes for $15,000 on the resale market now.
Ooh, Whew, man, $15,000, I can buy a new car.
It's mainly rappers that are buying it now. I can get you the same one for $120.
My kind of shoe, 60 or less.
The thing is, you'll get the look and it's pretty much an unauthorized authentic. So you get the same look, the same feel, the same everything of the $15,000 shoe. You're just not paying $15,000 and not through an authorized reseller because it's coming from China.
Me, I'd rather have a shoe that's comfortable. I don't know how comfortable that would be, but
they're comfortable. As far as I'm a sneakerhead myself, as far as comfort, I would say Jordans are pretty up there. What's the most comfortable shoe? I would say New Balance is most comfortable shoe.
Lately for me, I bought these, what was it? They're really off-brand, just kind of like they were like a $40 shoe with no laces, just a slip-on, a very comfortable kind of shoe. I've had those for maybe about 2 years. They are comfortable. I can be on my feet all damn day and I don't need Dr. Scholl's in these. Same with the Filas that I have. They're comfortable.
Those are cool too.
Yeah.
I've been into a lot of like mules, which are just like this. They look like regular shoes, but they don't have a backing because you're able to just slide them on.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole thing lately, listeners, aesthetically, be lazy, make it look like you're putting in effort. But that's also just my key to life. Be lazy, but look like you're putting in effort.
Be lazy, but put in effort.
No, you don't put in effort.
Oh, you don't? So you just look annoyed, so you make it look like you're busy.
No, not even that. You make it look like you're put together by getting things that look nicer than it is. When realistically it sweats, but it looks like slacks. You see?
So you're comfortable. You're working. You look comfortable, but it looks like you're wearing slacks. But in reality, they're more so like joggers.
Correct. And the same with like getting hoodies that look like they're all fancy, but realistically, it's just, something that most people would wear as just throwing on.
Yeah. Something you'd find maybe like Ross or Marshalls or something, like cut the cost, but they still look fucking badass.
For me, it's Target. You find something that looks like it's, nicer than it is.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about.
So that when you're looking comfortable, you're being lazy and the effort minimal. That's how it is for life. You make sure that whatever you're doing, it looks harder to achieve,
but in reality it's not.
You're just not doing anything. It's just the things that you do that people are like, oh wow, you're really trying to make a difference there, and you're just like in your head, nah, I'm not doing shit. It's sweats or sweats, my G. Sweats or sweats.
Sweats. Recently I recently got into actually wearing like joggers. I've been more of a jeans guy and like sweats at home, but once I dipped into this whole jogger thing, I'm like, ooh, these are fucking comfortable.
That's exactly how I am.
I went to Ross and bought like 5 of them.
With the way that they're making them now, because you can look pretty damn presentable, but be like, you know what? Maybe I will wear sweats out today.
Yeah, why not? It's comfortable. You're not feeling like, oh, these are too tight and such. You're just going with the flow.
Wait, the best. I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna blow your mind. Add a blazer to some joggers, you're gonna look like a fucking professional.
Depending on how the joggers look,
it doesn't matter because you're wearing a blazer.
I will have to try that. I will have to look at that.
Like a leather blazer and some joggers. I think I did that the other day last week, and it was just like I got told, oh, you're looking really sharp today, and I was just like,
you're like, hell yeah.
I was just like, I'm comfortable. I don't give a shit.
Fuck it. Hey, I want to dig into what we're watching these days. What do you watch these days? TV shows, movies. What do you watch?
I shamelessly watch Emily in Paris whenever it comes out. It is the worst show I have ever seen. My friends could not watch it without being crossfaded.
Oh, shit.
And they still can't. It is that bad. I'm not even going to say what the premise is because it's probably been all over everyone's Instagram and stuff before. It's I love Lily Collins though. She's cute. She's Phil Collins' daughter, but is the worst show. 90 Day Fiance, Real Housewives of Anywhere, Love Island, Are You the One? Pretty much if it's terrible, if it's buzzworthy, I'll watch it, and if it numbs your mind and makes you forget about the world.
Emily in Paris. I've never heard of that Emily in Paris. I just gotta see like who's
no one. It's Lily Collins and a bunch of just random ass people.
Yeah, no kidding.
and it's created by the person who did Sex and the City through MTV Studios, and it's just the most mind-numbing television that I've ever watched.
Have you ever watched a series called You?
Yeah, You is enjoyable. This, in striking parallels, it's I wish that Emily in Paris had at least a striking inner monologue of Joe from You, but no. In Emily in Paris, it's just, well, this is what you're getting.
Yeah, doesn't sound as appealing. I believe I crossed it a little bit as flipping through the Netflix, and it just didn't strike my attention.
And it normally wouldn't for me. I just got told by so many other podcasts I listen to myself that it's very hard to watch, and so I made it a challenge.
Like, okay, I got to see for myself to see what all the fuss is about.
It's renewed for a 3rd and 4th season. So
2 more seasons, and they have 2 seasons out.
The second one just came out.
Oh wow! So, I don't know if it's that difficult to watch. that's not gonna appeal.
I think it's not that hard to film either, because it's pretty much let's just put Lily Collins in a bunch of high fashion shit in Paris and create a storyline about who will she love today.
I wonder if that's on location or in set.
No, it's on location. I know too much about it because I was trying to figure out at what point is there something redeeming to this show. Okay. And the answer is you pass time.
You just pass time on it.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think what else is redeeming about. I feel no emotional enjoyment. I don't feel like I've accomplished anything. There's no payoff at the end of the show when the seasons end. Okay. It's not episodic. There's no linear story. It's not episodic. So it's just like, where does this exist?
It sounds like it's like really going, I wouldn't say like going nowhere, right? Would you call it that? Or just kind of like per episode, it's just kind of like got their own sort of deal going on?
They have their own problems, but it's problems that don't relate to anything that you should actually have any care or investment in. It's like, oh no, I'm a social media marketing person for this fashion brand and I made a faux pas. How am I going to solve it? Well, that's on you. I have no investment in that because we fuck up sometimes. Deal with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And that's my take on it. It's just like, so you're telling me I'm watching a 30-minute episode that's just like, oh no, I messed up. Now I need to solve it. And I'm just like, gee, I wish I had that privilege.
Sounds like an anime, to be honest.
You know what? I think it would actually do way better as an anime than it does as a live action.
I would think so too. That's something that as an anime you would get more out of it rather than live action.
The premise alone, as you're blowing my mind. I'm Netflix. Are you listening? I got an idea. Emily in Paris, but as an anime, make it more dramatic.
There you go.
Pick out a girl who moves to Paris to be a social media marketing consultant and like blows up on Instagram and stuff through it.
I'd watch that. And
I'm thinking that if it was an anime, they can up the humor too, and I'd actually be like, oh, I don't care. It could be more fantastical because when you're using actual people, it's just like,
yeah, when you're using actual people, it gets boring sometimes.
It's just because it's more based in quote unquote reality, but it's just like, oh, it's rich people and stuff. I don't care. I can go on this show for hours because it's one of those things where I can't explain the nuance of it.
Yeah. I think if they did it as an anime, I'd definitely watch that. I'd pay to watch that for sure. Well, subscribe, quote unquote, but I think Netflix already upped their prices by $1.
It would have a crazy fucking bitchin' ass theme song too, because every anime is just like, it's like power metal, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Oh, great anime. I fucking love it.
I've seen bits and pieces of it, and my brother-in-law has told me good things about it too.
Everything relates to like rock and roll and stuff, or like metal and hip hop. So I need to watch it more too.
I've been watching like I've watched some animes here and there, whatever my fiance wants to watch, like One Piece and like My Hero, whatever they like to watch. So Attack on Titan, that one was good up to the 3rd season, to be honest with you.
And then there's the classics like Akira, Evangelion, Gundam. Basically, all the giant robots. When there's robots, can't go wrong.
I remember Gundams and just buying the Gundam figures and putting them together. I think me and my brother did that.
And then they just stand there and you're just like, yep, I did it.
It's kind of like, what was it, Bionicles that Legos has?
Yep. Or Zoids. Zoids was another one.
Yeah, Zoids.
Zoids,
I remember Zoids.
Pretty much.
My whole thing was like the whole Power Rangers Megazords and all that.
Fuck yes. Those, I was huge on those. We're really showing our ass as nerds too. But I'm sure the audience probably was just like, oh, they're talking about old metal bands, emo. Yeah, these guys are nerds.
We'll have to save that for another episode and nerd out more.
They wouldn't be wrong. They, unfortunately,
I can go on and on about that all day, to be honest. But show wise, I have like a few shows that I've watched that I'd really recommend. I mean, if you're on Netflix, there's a show called Kim's Convenience. It's about
I fucking love it.
I fucking love it too. And that show is just, it's very, like my fiance said, it's very wholesome, but it's very funny at the same time.
When it gets sad, it gets sad.
Yeah, it does. So few episodes had to skip off, but it's really good. And who knew the guy that plays the son in that is part of that one Marvel movie, like
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Simu Liu.
Yep. So pretty cool.
And the guy who plays Kimchi, he really is a huge sneakerhead. So in all the episodes where he talks about sneakers, it's him actually wanting to go out and buy it.
And Mr. Kim's a big nerd. Paul, he's a big old nerd. He has a podcast of his own, if I'm not mistaken. He loves, like, he nerds out on like Star Wars and everything.
Oh, I need to listen to that.
You gotta check it out. Go to YouTube and check it out, or follow him on his Instagram. He nerds out on a lot of stuff. I believe he's a big old Star Wars nerd like myself, to be honest with you.
I do have a question. Are you into Brian Posehn and his comedy?
Oh my god. I crossed paths with Brian Posehn once and I totally fucking missed my chance to say hello. Pasadena Convention Center, I forget which convention it was. It was like a Halloween kind of it was a horror con kind of thing. And Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund was there signing that whole weekend at Pasadena, California, signing. I got there, the line was so long that I never even got a chance to meet Robert Englund.
Fuck.
But I got to cross paths with Brian Posehn. I mean, I didn't get to say hello. This guy's tall. This guy's tall. And he lost a lot of weight, and so he's not that tubby guy that you've seen before, but he's good. He had his camera crew and everything, and I was like, that Brian Posehn? Sure enough, come to find out later in the day on his Instagram, it was Brian Posehn. I love Brian Posehn.
I love the only comedian that talks about metal, and
I'm more metal than you.
Created songs about his voice in general is just perfect.
He's badass. I mean, the first time I ever got turned on to Brian Posehn was a lot of the VH1 classic metal, what was it, talk and all those shows, and he would show up like, this guy's badass.
I love the 90s and stuff like that.
Yeah,
man,
I love the 90s. That's what it was.
When I think about things that shaped childhood, shows like I Love the 90s, Headbangers Ball.
I've met Ricky Ratman from Headbangers Ball. He's a nice guy. He put on what was it? Hair Nation. It wasn't a Hair Nation festival, but it was close. It was called Cat House Live because he used to have a club called the Cat House in West Hollywood. So he threw a big old festival at what was Irvine Meadows Amphitheater in Irvine and
Five Points or something.
Huh?
Isn't it 5 Points Amphitheater?
No. That's a separate amphitheater. What was Verizon Wireless Amphitheater in Irvine? Yeah. That's what it was. That had the festival, the Cat House Live Festival. It was amazing. I have this poster on my wall from Cat House Live. It had Tom Kiefer from Cinderella, Dokken, Extreme, Sebastian Bach, Faster Pussycat, all the bands that used to play over there. My God, that was a hot day.
That's why I hate outdoor festivals.
Dude, that festival was mid-August.
That's why I don't get you. That's when Warped Tour and stuff would be, and they'd be charging like $13 for water without giving refill stations, and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore.
No, it was a little too much.
No, I haven't done an outdoor festival. Well, obviously before COVID, but even before that, it's been like 10 years, maybe like 8 years since I've gone to an outdoor festivals, just because I told myself I wouldn't do it anymore.
I don't remember the last outdoor festival that I went to. Yeah, it's been that long. I don't remember.
They're just not worth it. You just feel tired and you don't have a place to sit at the end of the day.
You make a good point, because a lot of it's just all standing, and if you want to sit down, you can't. There's no place to. The only place you can go to sit down is probably go to the can, but a lot of the times the can's just a metal mess.
It's a mess, and it's roasting shit.
Exactly.
All day.
It's like,
Man, those Warped Tour bathrooms, R.I.P.
but then they were at the Pomona Fairplex too, and it's kind of gnarly over there. So I don't blame you.
No, I would. One year, it was at the Dodger Stadium parking lot. They had Warped Tour.
They had it at the stadium parking lot?
It was insane.
Oh my God. Was it? I wonder why they had it over there. Usually they're all Pomona Fairgrounds unless there was something going on over there already.
It's Pomona Fair. No, they had Ventura, Pomona, and then an LA date.
Oh, wow.
2 picks.
I thought it was just one.
No, they have Ventura as well, or they used to. Well, now they don't have it at all.
Is that the one that you went to, the Pomona one or the Ventura one?
I would go to Pomona, Ventura, and San Diego sometimes.
Oh, right on.
A lifer.
Another show that I actually like to watch is if you have Hulu, it's called Superstore.
I hear great things about that.
Superstore is starring what the hell, America Ferrera, and it's got a couple other people. One of the guys that plays the boss on there was a Saturday Night Live character. Well, he was on Saturday Night Live, and if you watch Night at the Roxbury, he's the pastor at the very end that marries Molly Shannon and Will Ferrell. I just forget his name. I'm going to look it up right now.
I haven't watched Saturday Night Live in a bit. I know that the new cast is pretty good, but I don't like Pete Davidson or anything.
I don't know much about the new ones. Oh, Mark McKinney. Mark McKinney. That's who it is.
He's incredibly funny.
Oh, yeah. He's funny. He's hilarious in this show. I definitely recommend it.
One second.
Okay.
My cat is at my door. Meow. Go away. Go away. Go away.
My cat does that too. Both of my cats.
Same. I have a tuxedo cat, and that's the one who's meowing. And then usually I have a munchkin cat who's like the corgi of cats, and she'll just do that.
Yeah, my calico will do that. She goes crazy, and then my co-rat will do that too. So.
I'll be like, if I'm on a Zoom call at work while I'm working from home, I'll just hear meow, meow at my door, and I'm just like, I'm right here. What do you need?
Yeah, I
I'll
hear you.
Or they'll look in and they'll just be like, all right, cool, it was open, thank you, and they won't go in.
Yeah, they just want to see that you're there, or sometimes my girls will want to sneak in as well, and want to just like mosey on in and say, hey, what you got here? I don't get to come here and hear that often.
I think it's because he wants food or something. I'll feed him later.
Yeah, my cat, my two girls, they will scratch at my door at 4:30 in the morning, like when I usually feed them, and start meowing, and I'm like, okay.
Because sometimes you need some space from your pets. Yeah. Sometimes you need space from your little companions. It happens.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I'll close the door on them, and this is what I get.
I do the same. Anyway, we're about ready to wrap this up. You got any last things to say, Brutal Brett?
I gotta say, Valentine's Day is coming up. Don't be emo. Keep your head up. And as My Chemical Romance say, we'll carry on. We'll carry on. That's it for me.
Right on, Brutal Brett. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Tune in for another episode. Definitely subscribe. Go to funneverendspodcast.com. Check it out. You can listen to everything on there, or go to all the other podcast sites or wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in and catch us on Facebook at Fun Never Ends Podcast. For Brutal Brett and myself, Metalhead Nelson, signing off. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. You guys rock, and we'll catch you guys another time. Take care. Bye.